Cool. You want to do a fifth and sixth check?
I kind of do. I'm becoming OCD. Go wash my hands again. The blood will never come off.
Hello.
Hello.
And welcome to I Hate Your Movie. This is a movie podcast where me and Dan inflict movies upon each other for entertainment purposes. This week, you're not going to say hello?
Oh, hello. Sorry. I was putting my phone on our flight mode.
Yep.
It's another thing we have to do.
I've already done that.
If you're confused about that cold intro, it's we had some fucked up audio on recent episodes, so I'm extra OCD about it.
Cool. This week, we watched World War Z, the 2013 super hit starring Brad Pitt. So I'm going to read the synopsis. Out of nowhere, Jerry, an ex-United Nations employee, finds himself in a race against time as he investigates a threatening virus that turns humans into zombies. Do you want to hear some ratings? Do you want to hear some IMDb ratings and stuff?
I can probably guess.
I don't think you can.
No?
No, I don't think you can. Right, so IMDb,
Yeah.
7 out of 10. Right?
Wow.
Rotten Tomatoes, 70%. 72%, sorry.
7 out of 10. If I were to intro this movie, I would
In maybe you would do it in the form of a one-sentence review.
Well, you can count this as my one-sentence review. I have a different one, but I would intro this movie as welcome to our 16-part series of 5-hour discussions on how this movie doesn't make sense. Part 1. My one-sentence review is a descent into stupid. Because I always heard this movie was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I never watched it. I always heard even normies say, nah, this is stupid, doesn't make sense. And then when I started watching it, I was like, well, this is okay. It starts okay. There was a few bits that were like, we'll get into that. And then it just goes on and it goes lower and lower and lower. And it becomes exponentially stupid. Let's just say that.
Yeah, we started off watching this film fairly seriously because I feel like we have two versions of watching films.
Mm-hmm.
One where it's kind of we just sit and we watch it and we try and take it seriously. And then we've got like the Neil Breens and the Samurai Cops of the world where it's just open season.
Yeah.
Like, look at that. That's fucking stupid. And we chat to each other throughout the whole thing. And I think this is one of the only films we've ever done where we merged from one to the other.
Yeah. At reflecting on the film's stupidity. Because unless we just sit in a cinema, I would not be able to shut up about this.
Yeah, I felt you like when you just like burst out laughing at certain scenes.
There was a few.
Yeah, I felt like we're sliding into madness here.
Also, researching this movie gave me a new headache, so we can talk about that too. So, World War Z. Do you think British people said World War Z?
No, it's World War Z.
Traitors. Even before this movie begins, I had some double takes. Because this has a rare pre-credits, like in the olden days.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some writer credits that are just very eyebrow-raising. And one is J. Michael Straczynski.
Okay.
He is a comic book writer / TV writer. He's responsible for Babylon 5.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's his most famous thing, probably. But he's done loads of comic book work. He's done my favorite run on Spider-Man. He's not really crossed that Hollywood threshold.
Mm-hmm.
And then two of the Lost Boys, Damon Lindelof and Drew Goddard, made Lost. Damon Lindelof especially. He's one of the most frustrating writers I know in Hollywood. He's always like one of those guys who's great at starting something and then terrible at ending it. Lost is a good example of that, but there's like, he did the Watchmen series, you know?
Oh, wow.
Which had like incredible start and middle, I would say.
Yeah.
And then just at the end, just like a big poo. Becomes a big poo. It's just like all these names, like, wow. And none of their voices come through somehow. You know? Book is written by Max Brooks, Mel Brooks' son.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And now he writes Minecraft books.
He writes Minecraft books.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to his career, but he wrote a bunch of zombie books. And now he's writing Minecraft adventures. I don't know. These names are already raising a lot of eyebrows with me. It suggested to me a lot of behind the scenes turmoil.
Yeah.
Because all these writers, they're usually sole writers. You know, there's movies where you see 5 different writers. That means the project was kind of assembled.
Yeah.
Usually a bad sign. And this one, you see 5 famous writers. You know, it kind of like a red signal. Is like, that doesn't look right.
Yeah, they famously kept changing this film until it became something completely unlike the books.
Yeah. Did you do research into what they changed?
No.
Because I did.
Oh, good. One of us did.
One of us did. So they hired J. Michael Straczynski, and he wrote a kind of Born Identity type of movie.
Okay.
Which is ridiculous, seeing the end product. I'll tell you my journey, what happened, how I discovered that the ending was changed.
Okay.
I was reading trivia, and one of the trivia was shot in Budapest, Hungary.
Hey, hometown.
I'm like, my radar is usually really good. You know?
Yeah.
Remember when we watched Atomic Blonde, and then literally just a wall with 3 bullet holes? I'm like, that's Budapest. That's Hungary, I can tell. And I'm like, well, maybe they did like a studio thing there.
Yeah.
And then I look into it, and it says, like, they shot all the Moscow stuff in Hungary. Remember the Moscow scenes?
No, I don't.
Exactly.
There are no Moscow scenes.
That's the original ending of this movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes place in Moscow, and Brad Pitt gets forced into the Russian army
Right.
as an agent, and he's trying to go through the ranks and tell people what he learned throughout his globetrotting adventures.
Yeah.
Which is not what happens in this movie.
No.
Spoiler alert for this 100-year-old movie. The zombies leave sick people alone, who are terminally ill, which doesn't make any sense.
No.
The original idea was that cold slows them down.
Okay.
And there's remnants of it in the movie still, because when he goes to South Korea and it's really cold, there's like a thing where like a guy took like 3 weeks to turn into a zombie.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, so they just left it in the movie, which is funny. So that's supposed to be a clue about that. And then he goes to Moscow and he's trying to like communicate to people that's the case. And then he has like a ambiguous ending where he's not sure that the world will take on his advice. And they just changed it to be more like a standard Hollywood action film.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Okay.
To everyone's happiness. Whenever they change something that originally wasn't, it always turns out great, doesn't it?
Yeah. Let's get into it. But lots of companies made this film. And that was usually our signal. One of the most recent episodes was After Sun. And we said that then, like, loads of companies, it's a passion project. Everyone's put this together and they really care about what the story is being told.
Well, this is the exception to the rule.
It's...
Well, I think it may have come from like a passion project idea, because Brad Pitt, he wanted to assemble this movie. Not that he wanted to direct it, but it was his idea to make this into a movie. And it's his production, Plan B is the main one.
Okay.
I think it just got too big, and then all these studios came in and like, you know, all the moneyed interest kind of just made it crap. I thought it's pretty cool, this movie.
Yeah, Piers Morgan.
Piers Morgan, the coolest guy I know.
So everyone wants to see.
I didn't know he was around in 2013.
He's been around since the beginning of time. That's how the Antichrist works.
Yeah, he was spewing racist things when the Big Bang happened.
Keep the universe dark.
Yeah. Why is all this matter coming into being? God damn it.
By the way, if you're enjoying this episode, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And we also have a Patreon,
where for £1 or $1 a month, you can listen to bonus episodes that we do, and also recommend us movies and join a great community of people. Patreon.com/IHateYourMovie. It's also in the description box. Check it out. Thank you very much.
I will admit, I haven't seen this film for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And quite a lot of my notes in the start of this film are, I don't remember any of this. I quite like the start of this with the intro bit to it, because it's like, I like the mix of like the pop culture, Jerry Springer type show mixed in with like war in the Middle East.
Yeah, it's kind of exposition as well, news exposition, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Usually easy way to do it.
And the fact that it's mixed in with like all these pop culture things that like, you kind of get the idea that people aren't really paying attention to this horrible thing that's happening, that's starting up, because it's mixed in not just with things that are happening in the zombie world, but because of the sensationalist nature of even the news back then, they try and make everything sound really important, so nothing sounds very important.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really good way to intro, like a world apocalypse.
So yeah, this is a pretty cool scene. I like the garbage truck that comes through the...
Yeah, there's a scene in between where
Okay.
like it's like a big happy family. All the families are getting ready to go out, and Brad Pitt's like a house husband,
Yeah.
and he's got it basically, he might as well have on like a pink frilly apron.
That's fine.
It's cool.
You know what also I liked about that is that he has an age-appropriate wife.
Mm.
It's not usual with these kind of big stars. So in the 28 Days Later review, you're very nitpicky. What we call Rick's bitching hour.
About what? I like 28 Days Later. I don't remember bitching about it.
No,
No.
it's all these little details that you're like, you wouldn't do that, you wouldn't do
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Either we spend 3 hours doing the same in this movie, because at some point I couldn't keep my notes up about all the stupid things that happened.
Yeah, but this is a stupid film. It's like Ford versus Ferrari or watching Fast and the Furious.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know, Ford versus Ferrari, if the cars aren't how they're meant to be, and if it doesn't drive the way it's and if it doesn't do certain things, and there's no, or they put a part in it that's not correct. I don't know why I chose this example. I know nothing about cars. It's a terrible thing for me to pick. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you go to Fast and the Furious, and it doesn't matter that a car takes off and gets grabbed by a magnet plane. It's just different films.
Okay, fair enough. I tried to keep notes about all the stupid things that happened. And at some point I was like, I'm missing the whole movie because I'm trying to write down all the stupid things that happened.
Yeah, my memory early on of this film is when he's like an ex-UN guy.
That's already funny. Like the UN, this powerful international entity, the United Nations.
And did you see early on that where it was going, and like he was going to be some badass, really important, really guy? Like,
Is that what happened?
The guy.
I don't think that's what happened. Maybe it starts to build that up, and then just like a balloon, you let it go, and it just goes all around the place and just farts all over the place. I don't think he becomes badass hero, man.
But like he gets the call, doesn't he? He gets the call from the guy picking him up, and he's like, "We need you over in this place. We're gonna send a helicopter to get
Yeah.
you." But why him? Like,
I guess because he's the main character. That's why. The army generals read the script. You gotta call him Brad Pitt.
cool. Right, so let's get to your scene with the garbage truck.
That's it. I just like that. It reminded me of the Inception scene when the train comes through and it pushes all these cars away.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool, very well shot scene. And it's like, yeah, it's genuinely tense. So like, you don't know what's happening. You're on the ground with Brad Pitt and family. And then the zombies start happening.
Yeah.
And then that's when I'm like, that's a bit silly. So we talked about the differences between shuffling and running zombies. This is like one step too beyond. This is like self-harming zombies.
Self-harming zombies.
Yeah, because the first thing that happens is you see a woman, a zombie, banging her head against the windscreen. I feel like that's a bit silly.
Okay.
That's a bit too much. Like, that's not even animalistic. An animal has more intelligence than that. And then if they're that stupid, that's not much of a threat.
Yeah, I get what you mean, but the point is they're never gonna stop, even if it hurts them.
Yeah, it's still silly seeing the woman banging her head against the windscreen. Isn't it cool? They're like really savage and this, and it just comes across really silly.
Yeah, that makes sense. It didn't really stand out to me because my logic of it was that they've just lost their mind. So they could just be doing anything.
I feel like if you lose your mind to that point that you're willing to almost kill yourself to get to food or whatever, then that's like a self-defeating system.
Yeah, I have a question for you in this scene.
Yeah.
Well, not just this scene, but in films in general. In like crisis situations, are kids in film ever just not annoying? They're always just so I want my blanket. I want my blanket. Oh, I want. Shut up. It's zombies.
In this film, that's mostly due to the acting.
Okay.
It was awful. I have a note about that. She was like, literally, it took me out of the movie. Feels like she's looking at the camera people. The directors are looking like, okay. Oh, and then, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's not really there.
I think it just happens quite often though that like, the kid needs its blanket or it needs a stuffed bunny toy or
Yeah.
they're always just putting everyone else in danger.
This is like 50% your personal vendetta against humankind reproducing. 50% just filmmaking and kids are annoying.
There were some early signs of like oh, this is gonna get silly.
Yeah.
This is gonna get stupid. And for me, there was two. One in the filmmaking, one in the plot.
Okay.
Right. So did you notice early on there? Because it starts on the ground and it's kind of like grounded and then it's gritty and that kind of thing. But then there's these like really high-res Michael Bay style drone shots happening all the time as well.
Yeah. I felt that was appropriate though.
Yeah?
For this movie. Yes.
At the time? Like when you
At
thought
the
it was
time.
when you thought it was gonna be like serious?
Yeah, I guess the ones that stick out is when they do like their establishing shot when the helicopter comes in. There's like a Michael Bay shot that moves around. Is the very blocky font. UN building. 12:06 a.m. tea time. That was a bit silly, but I don't know. Up until really that, it felt pretty good.
There's a drone shots that go in between the
Okay.
buildings.
I don't think it stuck out to me. I
Okay.
think it was pretty well. At that point, it felt cohesive to me.
Okay. The second part of the ridiculousness of this is when Brad Pitt sees the guy get bitten, and for some reason the kid's doll starts counting.
Oh yeah.
So Brad Pitt's trying to figure out how long between getting bitten and, you know, being a zombie.
Yeah.
How quickly that happens.
It's very convenient.
Yeah.
That this doll starts exactly counting the seconds.
And not just that, but the fact that it counts to like 15, I think? 12.
12.
It counts to 12. Like, what kid's toy counts to 12?
That was silly. They go into a pharmacy. Do you remember that scene?
Yes, they do. Everybody starts looting.
Yeah, what's the point of the older girl is sick?
Yeah, she has like asthma.
Asthma. What was the point of that? I feel like it was set up to have a point and I ultimately never had a point.
If she doesn't have asthma, then something happens, they drive to safety. You need something to keep them in the city to show what's happening to society. So she's ill, so they have to go to the supermarket where everyone's looting. And that's where you see the police guy, because everybody's looting. Somebody even gets shot, and the police guy just walks up, clears the shelf full of like stock, and then walks out. And it's supposed to show kind of like how society is completely like and immediately broken apart.
In the pharmacy, there's a guy with the gun.
Yeah.
Regular pharmacy experience in the UK. The guy with the gun, it takes ages to get served. You're getting bad looks, people looting in the background.
That's what happens in the local Tesco's every day.
Yeah.
So this is where we meet the boy who doesn't care about his parents
Yeah.
in any way, shape or form.
I mean, to explain this, we have to go a bit back and forth, but basically, they meet this family in the flats, and there's a little boy, and then the family die. And
You
then,
don't see the family die.
doesn't the guy get infected and comes after Brad Pitt? Isn't that him at the
Oh,
end?
is it?
I think so. Again, boy in the background with the helicopter and unfazed.
Yeah.
Like, does that turn into a zombie? He doesn't give a shit.
Brad Pitt tries to convince these people to go with him, and he's like, I've been with the UN for years. I know that if people in these situations, people who stay die and people who move on stand a chance of living. And the guy's like, well, here's a stick with a knife on it.
Yeah.
Good luck. We're staying here. And then you hear like a on the door of the zombies coming. And then that's it.
Yeah. And appropriately, that guy doesn't believe him because he said the UN. He's part of the UN Special Deadly Force. What kind of universe is this?
I'm a UN investigator. That was it. That was his actual title.
He makes it out to be like he's Arnie from Commando.
Yeah.
For the UN. For the UN.
2 questions. 1, these people are in a dark hallway, but it's dark, but you can still see,
Yeah.
you know? Quiz start. What's the best way to hide from a zombie? Walk quietly, right, down these dark hallways. I'm going to have to think of these on the fly. You have to edit this as if I've just thought I'm really quick at thinking of these.
I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna leave that in. I'm gonna leave all the awkward silences in.
So walk quietly.
Yeah.
Take your shoes off. Make sure you're not on your phone and nothing's lit up. Or light a flare.
Yeah.
Why are they lighting a flare? It's loud. It's bright. It's literally designed to attract attention.
I think the filmmakers are dummies. The idea of the flare was that they talked to the UN Army General, and he's like, the wife has some flares. When we get to the top, we can alert you that we're here. And then she uses it in the fucking hallway.
Yeah.
Why is she wasting them?
Yeah.
What if they run out? Or the last one is ineffectual and the helicopter's not picking them up.
Yeah. Right, my second question for you about this scene.
Yeah.
They're in an apartment block, right?
Mm-hmm.
What stairway is this? Did you notice? It's like
No.
a completely industrial stairway. All the stairs are like metal, you know, the metal with the holes in it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's giant pipes running down the middle of the stairway.
I didn't notice that.
It's not a residential stairway in any way, shape, or form.
Fire exit, like the American style.
Yeah, but isn't that on the outside?
I guess so. I'm trying to play devil's advocate.
I quite like this little part of the film. So first of all, I like the fact that they've prepared for the zombies.
Yeah.
I like the fact that, you know, Brad Pitt's got a knife on a stick,
Mhm.
which isn't really going to help.
He duct taped some
Duct tape.
magazines. to
That was the thing I liked about it.
Yeah.
If anyone did that in The Walking Dead, it would be a much shorter show. Because everybody's always walking around in shorts and a t-shirt,
Yeah.
and then they get bitten. So when he's fighting off the zombie, and the zombie kind of spits in his face
Mhm.
and leaks blood in his mouth, and he runs out to the roof and he stands on the edge.
Yeah, that was good. And I like that it's just not explained at all. But you
Mhm.
just understand that he was about to kill himself if he turns.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then we descend into stupidity immediately after that. Kid doesn't care that the family turn into zombie.
So the thing that saved Brad Pitt was the kid, wasn't it? The kid shoots the zombie.
Yeah. So a few minutes later, they're on the ship and they do a little gang signs with the kid. They do a little fist up. Yeah, what's that called? Like fisty bumps. They do little fisty bumps after his family was murdered.
Look after the girls. Fist
Yeah.
bump. Okay, yeah.
They do like a 5-minute. You don't need visuals to understand that.
I think you're right in saying that from here it descends onto stupidity. Because my note for this part of the film is, this is much better than I remember.
Yeah. I was still with it here.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, why is there so many people said this is a really stupid film? That's weird. Maybe this is like a hidden gem. Oh, how wrong we were.
I think at the point it starts, you're like, ooh, that's a bit stupid. Is they go onto the boat and the guy is like, you know, if you help me, you can stay on the boat. If you can't help, then you gotta fuck off and die.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed, but behind him or somewhere on a screen is the projected loss count.
Okay.
Did you see that?
No.
And it's just like rolling up.
It's live feed.
Yeah, it is. It's just, it says like, I don't know, 10 billion or something. And it's like, and the millions are like.
Wow. I'm not sure this comes up now, but my next note is when they say the zombie word the first time.
Yeah, they say zombie.
It just felt very stupid because a bunch of scientists sitting in a desk and one of them says, no, don't say zombies. That's ridiculous. Why not? What? Who? I don't even get it why they say that.
Because, I don't know, maybe they're just still thinking it's a disease. Maybe they haven't got the information. But yeah, this is where we meet the boy scientist Wonder. Because he's leading that meeting. Because they're walking around the boat.
Oh, yeah.
And the guy who's the leader of the UN
Yeah.
is like, that guy knows what he's doing. He's a brilliant scientist.
Mhm.
We need you to go to this place and do that. And then that's it, really. He's like, yeah, fine, I'll go. Because otherwise you're going to send my family to die.
Yeah. I exactly wrote down, why won't Brad Pitt help the military? He's acting like there's something to retire to.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I get it if you don't want to help a military if you have your life and you have something to go back to, but there's not much to go back to.
No.
So might as well help.
Yeah.
There's not many options.
Yeah, they needed to add twists in that, like, maybe he worked for the UN and someone was trying to weaponize diseases, so he quit. And then he'd be like, oh no, this is the most deadly disease ever. We can't let, it fall into the wrong hands. So I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
But there's none of that.
Yeah,
It's
something.
like, the world's burning. Fuck that.
I want to retire in
Yeah,
a quiet village while the world is burning around me.
Stay on this boat.
Yeah. As Brad Pitt takes off. Do you remember I laughed about this?
They're saving the numbers in
They're
the phone.
saving the number.
They've put one phone number in this phone.
Yeah.
And they need to save like what it is.
Well, there's a lot of stupid things with the phone because later on there's like communication issues, but he can call his wife, but he has to ask for his wife to give it to the UN Army General, the phone. Like, isn't that more important?
If you've got one satellite phone
Yeah.
on this boat, it probably should be his wife.
Yeah. You just see him putting in the phone
Yep.
and the screen it cuts to is like him putting the words ho into his phone. It's gonna be home. But I wrote that, is it ho or homo or something?
The guy on the plane. Talk to me about the guy on the plane and his speech about Mother Nature.
His 15-minute monologue where he has this crazy speech where he mixes analogues, metaphors. Mother Nature is a serial killer, but she has a chink in her armor. Like, don't say all these different things. They're different metaphors within metaphors. You're confusing the whole thing. It doesn't make any sense. And she leaves crumbs. She leaves evidence behind of her murders.
So you've got chink in the armor, breadcrumbs, you've got Hansel and Gretel in there.
It's a bit confused. 5-minute crazy monologue.
It is a 5-minute crazy monologue. And again, but it's good because you get to know the character for all of his crazy adventures throughout the rest of the film.
Except he slips and kills himself.
Yeah.
A very awkward
The first thing he does when he gets off the plane is he runs from the zombies, slips on the ramp, and shoots himself in the head.
Not played for laughs.
No.
Even in a serious movie, that would be funny.
They went to South Korea.
Yeah, investigating Patient Zero. You might be able to help me, but I got really lost here.
Okay.
Like, what's the story? I didn't really understand. They're talking about, like, how they think North Korea leaked the zombie virus.
Okay.
And then there's something with teeth, that there's that guy who really awkwardly, in a very long scene, pulls out his teeth and talking about how there's no virus if there's no teeth. It just doesn't make sense because teeth is not really something that give a disease. It's not through the teeth, it's through the saliva.
Yeah, but you need to pierce the skin for the saliva to take over. Because if you can swallow the saliva and it doesn't do anything, it needs to enter your bloodstream.
Okay.
But yeah, his thing was that North Korea reacted early and quickly enough by pulling the teeth out of their entire population.
Of the entire population!
In 3 weeks, I think he said.
Even a dictatorship is not that efficient.
No.
There's no way to do that.
No.
That's stupid.
Stuff happens. Let's just skip. And the CIA guy tells him that the answer is in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Because Jerusalem built a wall around their city like 3 months before the thing happened.
Yeah.
So they've got to refuel the plane and they've all got to be really quiet and it's dark and it's rainy. And I quite like the visuals of this shot, to be honest with you, this whole scene.
Yeah. It's a bit too dark for me.
Bit too dark. Even though the camera's looking off down the runway, the zombies that come out still kind of appear out of nowhere. And I thought that was a really interesting way of doing it. So they need to refuel the plane, and to do that, they've given them the world's squeakiest bikes.
It was a bit funny when they were just on their little bikes. It reminded me of the Soul Puppet, the Billy the Puppet. Honk honk. Ding ding ding. They have those one of those things where it has something in the wheels and it just makes a
playing cards. You put playing cards in the wheels.
Yeah.
I never did that, but I had the little beads you put on that went up and down the spokes.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
Yeah. I had those.
They had all of those.
And a little basket on the front. They put a stereo in.
Yeah, and a horn.
But no, it's actually stupider than that. Because Brad Pitt, oh my god. You know when you're in a zombie apocalypse, always put your phone on silent. Because his wife rings him. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh shit, now there's zombies. Mm-hmm. And they fight to get on the plane.
Speaking of the phone.
Yeah.
So, can they not just call these places instead of visiting them, Can they not just call Jerusalem and say, what's up? And get the same information?
You'd think the UN would have the phone numbers.
They have that one phone, and they gave it to the fucking family and Brad Pitt because emotional reasons. But he doesn't need to go anywhere. He just calls them up. Hello. We go to eggshell country, where we have to walk on eggshells.
Yep. Where it's anyway, it's a small kind of city. They've built a massive
Jerusalem. Is Jerusalem small?
I don't know. In the film, it makes it look small. Makes it look like you can kind of see one end and the other end.
I feel like it's not small.
I know, probably not. Yeah, so they go to this city with a wall around it. Mm-hmm. Somehow they land the plane in there.
Yeah. I feel like when they get out, it's just outside the walls. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of planes. Maybe they landed there. But if they're outside, I don't know how they don't get caught by the zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All a good question. My memory of this film completely revolves around the speech the guy gives. He lands in and he explains to Brad Pitt why they've built this wall or finished building this wall so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I do wonder if there are places that have kind of used this rule. Do you remember the rule about the 10th man?
I've got a trivia about this.
Yeah?
They do have this.
Really?
They do have this. I'm not sure I'll explain it right, but basically it's like a ministry of devil's advocate,
Okay.
which is they research and look into things that are improbable, so they're not like in a bubble,
Yeah.
and they don't like just share the same information to each other all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They look into improbable things as I don't know, flat earth or whatever.
Yeah.
They just look into it because that's what they do. So they actually exist, it's just not what it's called.
Yeah. So in the film, whenever the government, I suppose,
Yeah.
there's 10 people on the government, and if they all agree to do the same thing,
Yeah.
then it's the 10th person's job to go and do the opposite thing.
Mm-hmm.
If they all agree something's ridiculous, he has to go research it properly.
So apparently it's real. It's just, I assume it's very simplified.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not 10 people.
Yeah. What confused me about that a little bit, even though it is a good idea, is does that person have like unlimited budget? Like 10th person in the government goes away and builds a multi-billion-pound wall around the city.
Yeah, that's where it breaks down, is like when it gets put into action.
Or is the idea that he went out and researched it, found out it was true,
Yeah.
and then came back to everyone else and was like, nah, it's zombies. Now let's do something about
Yeah. This is where I thought, because I've never seen this movie, throughout the clues that the movie gives us, I thought the cure will be bald people.
it.
Because there's an old guy who's balding, the zombies run past him, and then there's a little bald kid, and the zombies run past him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, baldness. It just had the movie Brad Pitt. Just bzzz, bzzz.
And then he's fine.
Yeah.
It's as plausible.
It's as stupid. Can we just say how stupid it is how the zombies going?
Yeah, so the city inside, and there's literally buses driving around and everyone's honking, and
Yeah.
there's an entire city of noise happening.
Mm-hmm.
And...
It's Jerusalem. You know, like you can imagine.
Cool.
Well, it's like a Middle Eastern city. It's very bustling. It's full of energy.
Yeah, well saved.
I don't know what was the problem with that.
Well saved. So the girl grabs the microphone and she starts singing. Everybody's singing together and it's very beautiful. But that's what attracts the zombies,
Yeah.
which is stupid.
So people are escaping.
I tell you what, because the CGI in this scene isn't great, because they start running away and there's loads of zombies everywhere. What I did like about the zombies is they're in no way organised. And I don't think I realised it until I watched this film. When like a horde of 30 zombies runs at someone and they get to a doorway, they all kind of perfectly merge together like a zip, you know?
Okay.
And it just kind of, everyone runs through the door one at a time and everyone makes it through. All the zombies make it through.
Yeah.
And in this, it's a bit different because they crush each other. And like one crashes into the door and the other smashes into them and carries on running, and loads of them go too far and they get beaten around. I liked it. It was like really frenzied. It wasn't...
That was good, yeah. But talking about the CGI, this is where I started to notice. I'm pretty sure I said this in a movie we watched before, but this takes a cake of the terrible CGI blood.
Okay.
It's literally if you grabbed Adobe After Effects and then you grab the blood plugin, like, and it's just a mist that disappears into nothing, and the color is off, and it didn't match anything on the film. It just looked awful.
Once again, I did not notice.
And then why is there a full tourist plane in Jerusalem of Belarus Airways full of tourists? Because they didn't look like survivors. They looked like tourists.
I think the idea is that everybody's going there to be safe.
Okay.
So all these planes are going there to be safe. Like they're being directed or whatever. And they land there. They get there thinking it's safe. And oh no, it's not. Turn around. Let's get out of here.
Okay.
My favourite bit of this scene is that the army guy just takes off. He just fucks off in the army plane. He's like, fuck this shit. I'm out of here. Where he's going to go, I couldn't tell you.
I just feel like on the passenger plane, it should have been more chaotic. And I feel like this is the director's fault. I think he's a bit of a dummy.
Okay.
Because everyone's just like sleeping and well dressed, not sweaty, not nervous.
Yeah.
I feel like there should have been more people than seats even.
Yep.
There's perfectly 2 seats reserved for Brad Pitt and a lady.
Yep. Yeah, I see what you're saying. You kind of want it to be like a refugee camp style kind of thing. You know,
think of the
people have their shirts hanging on the wall, and
think of the deportation buses in Children of Men.
yeah,
It's something like that.
Yep. Totally agree. Yeah, everyone does seem like they're, you know,
It's a bit too chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy literally, as Brad Pitt is bandaging up the girl's arm, guy next to him is like,
Yeah.
literally sleeping.
It's the last time I fly economy.
Yeah.
Everything's calm. They're taking off. There's zombies that have just attached them. They've grabbed hold of the wheel, but it's fine because they've taken off. And then up the service elevator of the plane, zombie comes out.
I don't think he gave this enough justice.
I think what I just described was incredibly stupid.
Well, what I mean is, like, you didn't really give the idea of how calm it was.
I think we just covered that quite well.
Okay. I wanted to say, like, stewardess goes through with a little trolley, gives everyone peanuts, you know. So yeah, zombie was sleeping and then waiting.
Yeah, zombies in the elevator.
It's very quiet zombie.
Very quiet zombie. When it was coming up the elevator, it was just do 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 in the elevator music. Do 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 do. Elevator. Ah!
He's looking at his watch. Oh, can you hold? Thank you. Which way? Which floor are you going to?
Going to the buffet floor.
For the humans. The human meat buffet. You know what? But that's still not as dumb as what follows, somehow.
Okay. Brad Pitt's... I mean, he's at the front of the plane, so he must be in, like, the first class bit, right? It doesn't really matter. Anyway, so we'll say he's in first class.
Oh, yeah. I just remembered something.
And then, so back, all the paupers in economy start getting attacked by zombies. And again, it's pretty quiet and no one's really, like... But the zombies are biting people at this point. And then all the palaver starts happening. And Brad Pitt looks through the curtain. He's like... Zombies. He closes the curtain. Shit. Now we're safe.
That's what exactly I just remembered. Like, oh, the curtain will save us.
Then they start getting everyone's luggage together.
They're trying to barricade it.
They're trying to barricade the doorway. And the guy pushes the luggage on the other side. And that's how it all falls apart. Because otherwise than that, it was a perfect plan.
The noise of that is the problem. But the zombies didn't hear them stacking up all these.
No, they did that pretty quietly.
It's still like weird logic. Surely there's lots of people making lots of noises, and then one luggage falls over, and there's all these zombies are really close by. Then they notice it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, pretty scary stuff. Zombies in a plane. Samuel L. Jackson turns up. I've had enough of these motherfucking zombies on this motherfucking plane.
I've had it with this motherfucking zombies on this motherfucking plane.
I have had it with these monkey fighting snakes on this Monday to Friday plane.
Yeah, then it's grenades on a plane. They throw a grenade and it blows up the side of the plane, crashing them into Dublin.
Yeah, it's a good idea, wasn't it? That's when I made the joke that they're gonna land and they're gonna be exactly 100 meters from their location, and there's gonna be a neon sign flashing, World Health Organization, and a big arrow. And it wasn't that far off.
It was, well, they walked through a village.
They walk through a village. Yeah. Oh, they have a little scene here with the family. The audience now forgot that they existed. So we have to have a little scene where they get ousted from the ship.
Your husband's dead, now you gotta go die yourself. Bye.
Yeah.
You going to... Where are they going?
Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia.
Yeah. But isn't it more wasting resources to get all these fucking helicopters in and out?
Yeah, why are they taking them to the boat in the first place, just to send them out again?
Remember our joke? Because they are rushing them out, and I said, are they going to walk the plank like in a pirate ship?
It made me think about it, actually. Like, if this was a darker film, probably would have done something like that.
I half expected that, something like that. I mean, it was a bit of a joke that they actually walked the plank, but I expected them to be killed, maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe that would have been, like, a good tension moment as well. Because, like, it takes loads of resources to fucking fly them around the world.
So, they land in Dublin and they go to the World Health Organization. So they go to WHO and they meet a doctor. Played by Peter Capaldi. And it's amazing.
You know what's even weirder? 2 months later, after this film came out, he was announced.
Really?
Doctor, 2 months later.
What made me laugh about this scene is his satellite phone's run out of battery. Ugh.
Should have thought of that, really.
If only there was a way to like pack spare batteries.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, they've only got 2 phones in the entire UN.
Why
But
not just turn it off until you have to call someone? And then you don't have that thing earlier as well when the phone goes off.
yeah, anyone got a Nokia charger? USB-C? No, you've only got Apple. Shit.
Can I just say, Brad Pitt, I like him as an actor.
Yeah.
He's very good. By the end of this film, he's really sleepy. He's not putting in effort in it.
No, because this must have been reshoots and an alternative.
It was, yeah.
He's yeah.
He's not putting in the effort. He's not even eating. Can I ruin Brad Pitt for you?
Okay.
He's eating in every movie. He's always eating.
Okay.
There's like compilations, eating all the time, and that's his thing. Like it's in all of these movies.
Okay.
Don't know why. Look up Brad Pitt eating in movies compilation on YouTube.
It's the most difficult wank ever.
But yeah, he couldn't even bother to eat while he's talking.
Do you remember how the virus broke out inside the World Health Organization of these highly trained disease scientists? I'm sure there's an actual word for that.
Disease scientist.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember
Do
actually.
you not remember?
No.
The highly trained doctor that deals with deadly diseases his entire career accidentally cuts his hand on a piece of glass and he gets infected. That's it.
Why is the glass infected?
I think he drops a jar. He drops like a what's it called? Beaker.
Okay.
I'm gonna. Yeah.
I wasn't thinking Beaker actually.
you
Beaker
thinking-
is more like a chemist.
Are you thinking of the tube?
Yeah, Beaker.
It's a beaker.
It's like a green liquid in it. And it's like smoke comes out. Petri dish that could have been as well.
Yeah, petri dish. So anyway, point is, he drops it and doesn't push the panic alarm. Oh my god, I've dropped this highly infectious disease. He's like, no, I'm going to pick that up. Oh no, I'm infected.
Yeah, I'm gonna lick my hand after as well.
Brad Pitt has figured out that diseases stop, and they do say there's a precedent for it in nature. Animals won't attack diseased animals so they don't get the disease.
Oh, that's where I wrote down that guy's 5-minute rant did make sense after all, I guess. But it doesn't make sense because it has to be lethal. That's what they come to.
Yeah.
So let's say I have cancer and you have like rabies, like it actually got to your brain. That's the world's deadliest virus. They're both deadly, but otherwise zero connection. Maybe fever, but otherwise zero connection.
Okay.
So
How do zombies know?
yeah, how do zombies know? And there's like a billion other things that are deadly diseases, viruses. It's just clunky and weird. There's like 1,000 billion ways to die of diseases and illnesses, and they all are different and they have different symptoms. So it just implies that the zombies can smell death.
Yeah, it also implies that the senses of the humans become massively heightened as soon as they become zombies. I can't look at someone and tell you if they've got a fatal disease. So why would I be able to if I was a zombie? And not just that, why would I be able to do that if I was a zombie while running full pace down a street?
Yeah. Not only they become invisible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They just run past them.
It's just nonsense. So they devise a plan where Brad Pitt has to go into the B wing, which has the deadly pathogen room.
Yep.
And test this theory out. The deadly pathogen room is a door away from the cafeteria, as you do. Very safe.
What I'm really impressed with the World Health Organization is the camera coverage of their CCTV. They literally sees everything. So they flip when it's like you say it's the canteen. It's like this is the sky bridge, this is the door, this is the canteen, this is the break room, this is the smoking area.
This is the changing room. Oops.
This is the toilets. This is the snack machine. Oh no! Worst thing ever. We're dangerously low on pickled onion monster munch. This is the deadly virus room. So it's a really funny bit where he's trying to get into the deadly pathogen room.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh no, there's a code. And the phone rings like on the wall and he picks it up. The woman's on the other end is there like, oh, the code's 2456. The code's 1234.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Puts down the phone and then he goes, puts in the code. Oh my God, I better really carefully put this crowbar down on the floor in case it makes a noise.
Yeah. Phone earlier. It was one of those old-timey kind of in-house phones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the zombie extras were a bit too goofy.
Yeah.
Because I was bored. some moments in this movie. I'm just looking at the extras and some were like really getting into it, you know, "Rah." And some were like just goofing off in the background. They're not taking this seriously.
They've run out of money at this point. They've just hired an improv troupe to
Yeah.
do it for free.
Some of them felt like just guys from Comic-Con fucking around, you know? There's just no consistency as well of like, what is a zombie? Like, some of them felt like very Romero-esque, like serious, fucked up zombies. And some felt like goofy comedy zombies.
Yeah, what bugged me about the very end of this is the zombie chases him and he closes the door to the deadly pathogen room. And the zombie just stands on the other side and it's like looking in. It's doing this really annoying, like, teeth chattering. Like.
Yeah.
Earlier in the film, the zombies are so crazy, they're banging their head against a windshield.
Yeah.
But here, he's just like, hello. It's going to wait here till you come out. And it didn't...
So, I've got many things to say about this ending. That Brad Pitt has to go and inject himself with a deadly virus. It has to be deadly. And they build this up like, oh my god, he's gonna do it, he's gonna die. Is he gonna make it? Yeah. He's gonna make it. It's fine. Just stab him into something, whatever. But the tension just immediately disappears. Like, what was he doing this for? The way the movie presented it is like he's actually gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just, whatever. No lasting effects, whatever mysterious thing you inserted into yourself. And it's not a scientific test. They can't go like, okay, I'm Brad Pitt, I figured out what's wrong, I inserted myself with the unknown lethal dose of something.
He does know what it is by the end because he takes the box out with him to the doctors.
Yeah.
The doctors will be able to look at it and be like, oh yeah,
Okay,
that's...
but still, he has his own medical history, he reacts to things differently. Every human reacts to things differently.
Mm-hmm.
The reason for like a scientific experiment is to have like a control as well, and then to really eliminate any different interactions and stuff, you know? He comes back and is like, oh, I figured it out, this is it, and it just felt very like cartoonishly simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, my assumption is that that's the first test and they do loads more before they roll it out to everyone. At the end, where they inject Peter Capaldi with something else, and they're like, no, you free to zombies now, you can go. That one didn't work. Okay, put that on the list.
I think I'm done.
Yeah.
On the spot.
There's a really dark post-story bit. Oh, the world is getting back to normal now. There's like this JCP digger, and it's just like pushing like mountains of dead bodies around. It's like, oh, the Earth's getting back to normal now. I don't think it is. Could be wrong, but I think you're in for a struggle still. But what I understand even less is the credits music.
Wow.
That would have made more sense. It's this really ravey dance music, like
Feels like it should be in a movie that's 10 years before, like 2003. I did not enjoy this movie.
No, I didn't think you would. I still enjoyed it, to be honest with you. Yeah, I mean,
what's wrong with it?
What's bizarre about this film that I remember being overall better, and I think I remember like an average of this film because it starts, I think, very well.
Yeah,
and it ends poorly. And I think I've started at 8 and it's gone down to 3, and in my head I've leveled it out to like a 5 or a 6 overall. Because I'm like you, the end of this film is stupid.
Yeah,
I don't think I remember that well. I think I've just averaged out like all the scenes in my head. It's got an interesting journey. It could have ended better. I think there's some interesting points in it. I think a lot of it is very well shot. I think it's got some unique ideas that aren't really portrayed very well. All of that is in between idiocy.
It's got an interesting journey. It's a roller coaster ride of stupid.
But I feel like we had fun making fun of it. What are you giving it out of 10?
3.
3. Okay. I'm torn between a 4 and a 5, edging closer to a 4. Although I think it has to be a 5 because 5 is I will watch it again.
Would you watch this again?
Well, I have.
Oh, I guess so. Wouldn't you count that from now? Would you watch it again? Because, 10 years ago when you watched this, you were stupid.
Still stupid. What are you talking about? I think if someone said to me, hey, come around, we're having a gathering and we're watching World War Z, I'd be like, yeah, all right.
I'll be blocking them on Messenger. I'll never talk to them again.
So I think it has to be a 5,
Okay.
which I feel is unfair to all of the other films that I've rated to a 4. So, what are we watching next?
I've been sitting on this for a while because I'm kind of going through my favorite movies of all time with you,
Okay.
but I don't want to do them all at once.
Yep.
I've been waiting. It's called The Big Lebowski.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm genuinely excited about this.
I have a feeling you're not going to like it.
Okay.
So temper your expectations.
Everybody always says such good things about The Big Lebowski. It's endlessly quoted, endlessly cosplayed.
I feel like all those people misunderstand the movie.
That's cool. That might be me.
It has that quality of the Tyler Durden effect. Speaking of Brad Pitt, it's like Tyler Durden is so cool. You missed the whole point of the movie. Not that. No, I don't want to tell you how to feel about it, but looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well.
We're gonna watch that now. Woo!
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep. Goodbye. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.